problem with it. I promise you that shit.
Listen to the words. Garbage, a joke, clown acts, pisses me off. No, come find me. No, come find me. Listen to the words. Come find me. Garbage, a joke, clown acts, pisses me off.
I ain't a hard guy to find. I promise you that shit.
Listen to the words. Garbage, a joke, clown acts, pisses me off. What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back here on the channel on a Wednesday. That means it is indeed What We Learned Wednesday, the show where I bring you my thoughts, my notes, and my opinions from the previous week of the University of Georgia football. We say it every week on this channel, and I firmly believe it. I will stand by it. I don't think there's anyone that knows what they are doing in between the 53 and a half, in between them white lines on Saturday. I don't think there's anyone that knows more about it, can explain it, can come to you and bring to you knowledge of it, of the topic, than me. Okay, I stand by that because I work at it, right? We study. We're called the film guy over here for a reason, right? If you've been on this platform at all this season, you've probably seen that. You've probably seen us grinding the tape. I think it's so adamant and so important that when your football coach is very, very adamant about, hey, watching the tape, knowing what football is, right? Looking at it, looking at the X's and O's, right? Not everybody can do that. Not everybody can explain it. Not everybody can walk you through it. We do our best to do that here. So if you enjoy that, hey, that's why you're here. And that's why we're here on What We Learned Wednesday. I bring you, this is an amalgamation of all of our thoughts, of all of our opinions, of all of our notes, of everything. So just sit back, relax. If you're midway through the week and you're just now catching up with us, please, by all means, go back, watch our film studies, understand what was going on in that South Carolina football game, understand how Georgia went about dominating in the fashion that we're obviously going to talk about tonight. Super excited for you guys to be here. We got a loaded show for you guys as always, but I want to take care of some business first, and I want to give a quick shout out to the homies over at Gramco. TheGramco.com has all of the latest and greatest in the Delta 8 and CBD space, from disposable vapes to gummies and even coffee, which you know your boy loves. Head over to thegramco.com and shop today. Use promo code Brooks25 and you will get 25% off. I know some of the family members have used some of the Gramco.com products, and they've come away blown away and impressed with the quality of the product. So feel free, head over there. Promo code Brooks25. Again, you'll love it. Promo code Brooks25. I said it already. Said it enough. Said it plenty. Also, one thing I want to mention. Okay, we get a bunch of people that watch these videos. Hit that thumbs up. That's all. Don't take long. You can do it before you show up. You can do it as you leave. Just show us some support that way. And, of course, head over to patreon.com/Brooks Austin. Again, if you've liked any of the stuff that we do film-wise, you're going to love that crap over there. There's a bunch of it, okay? And in the offseason, it's much more intel-based. It's much more recruiting-based. During the season, we're trying to show you what went right, what went wrong, and break it down and educate. That's what that is for over there. All right, enough of the gallivanting around. I'm telling you, okay, we got a new show edition, by the way, a Braveheart sword, at Landmark Christian School, my alma mater. You get a Braveheart sword when you letter for all 4 years. That's right. Your boy lettered as a freshman. Small school. It's not impressive. Let's talk about what we learned. We also have a new potato. I think it fell behind the studio drop today. So whoever the random person is that keeps sending me potatoes, that one's probably going to grow spores behind the set here. So thanks. You're really just creating messes in my studio here. But I do appreciate the love. We get a bunch of stuff sent to the studio all the time. We appreciate you guys. We love you guys. Fan engagements, good stuff. Let's talk about it. Hey, what in the hell do you learn in a 48-7, absolute dismantling of an SEC East program? To be honest, it's not supposed to be like that. Was talking to several people within that South Carolina building. They were just blown away. Obviously, they knew they were outmanned, out-talented. They didn't think it was like that. All they could talk about was just how beautiful of a football team they look like from a Jimmy's and Joe's standpoint. But I'm here to tell you folks, like, it's hard to tell you over and over and over again how good this football team is. I think you're going to see a lot of the content creators that you've loved for a long time in this Georgia space kind of run dry on things to tell you in terms of, again, how good this football team is. Again, if you're not out here actually showing that, hey, I know they won 48-7, but they blocked counter like crap to start the football game. If you're not showing that, what are you talking about? Because that's some kind of dominance we haven't seen in the SEC, except we have, right? There's been one team. This is a new era of dominance for Georgia, but this is not a new era of dominance for the SEC. We call this the we about to wax your SEC ass by 40 era of dominance. And there's only been one other member, and it's been Alabama. And now Georgia has entered this space of, again, we're going to show up to your doorsteps in the SEC, divisional opponent, not named Vanderbilt, and wax you by 40 today and take our foot off the gas in the fourth quarter. That's a new level of dominance, but it is not new. Okay, Bama's got loads of these throughout their history books. I mean, they dubbed up Mississippi State by 40 last year, smacked them. It was 28-0 midway through the first quarter. Absolutely obliterated. Got them 41-0 the year before. By the way, whatever Saban's doing to Leach, Kirby Smart's probably going to figure that one out. He's basically goose-egged him 2 years in a row. So they have absolutely obliterated SEC Western opponents, okay? They got Kentucky by 60 back in 2020. They dubbed up the Kentucky Wildcats by a 60 burger. They don't even make those. It's 40 burgers, 50 spots, and 60 whatever. They won an SEC game by 60 points. They got Arkansas by 49 that year as well. Ole Miss in 2018, they dubbed them up by 55 points. The reality of the fact is that when you're winning football games like this in the Southeastern Conference, again, Vanderbilt doesn't quite count. They will start counting soon. I think that's a pretty decent football team, especially with A.J. Swan now at the helm. But the point remains, these ass whoopings are very uncommon. You are in rarefied air, but you're just in new air. You're in a new era of dominance that has been occupied by one and only one, and that's been Alabama. And you could say Clemson in the ACC. We don't count that on this channel. We don't, because no offense to any ACC homers. I don't even know if you guys exist, but any ACC truthers out here, y'all know what the conference is. For a long time, it was Clemson sucking it dry and just dog walking everybody. Ohio State up there in the Big Ten, not necessarily like that, right? They don't even have a year in, year out. We're going to dub up divisional opponents by 40. So it is a very rarefied air of dominance. We learned that for sure on Saturday. I thought I learned this week that you guys are very, very sensitive about schedule talk, okay? And I don't mean you guys, Georgia fans. I mean you guys in general. Everybody is really, really suspect and sensitive to someone coming after their strength of schedule. Y'all hate that crap, okay? Trying not to cuss as much. It's been flying off the tongue lately. Sorry, guys. We're getting a little too comfortable. I'm like 10,000 shows in at this point, I feel like. We just turned the mics on and roll. We got a bunch of prep work here, but nowadays, y'all just get me for who I am, so I hope you enjoy it. It's no longer fluff and stuff coming from this channel. It's just me. So if you hear me saying things that you're like, hey, that guy used to not say the S word, I'm sorry. We might say shit and ass and damn on this channel every once in a while. I'll limit the F words to about once a month, okay? Most likely. So if you're listening with the kiddos at home, I'm sorry. They probably hear worse in middle school. I heard 2 kids in the playground today cussing like sailors. Not great. Okay, your kids are probably hearing it. Sorry if they hear it from me. My apologies. But these ass whoopings, again, they not uncommon. Let's get into the schedule talk. I told y'all a little bit sensitive about this one, right? Nobody likes it when somebody comes and talks about their schedule. But for the most part, I got to be honest. I thought the point of having divisions and rotating, crossover games, right, with one constant crossover game called a rival. I thought the whole point of consistency in this model that the SEC has held for, I don't know, a dozen years since the A&Ms of the world came into the conference and Missouri came into the conference. Since these divisions have been aligned, I thought the whole purpose of having a system to it was to create a form or, system of fairness, right? Everybody plays the same divisional opponents. That's why it's a division. Georgia has Auburn every single year. Tennessee has Bama every single year, right? There is a model of consistency. Yes, out-of-conference opponents are up and down, right? That is your job, the University of Georgia, to go schedule some good ones. And by the way, they've tried. They had one on next year's schedule. Opposing fan bases complaining and bitching and moaning, add bitching to the list, bitching and moaning about Ball State. They had one. They were going to go to Norman. The SEC nixed it. So look, if you want to know why Georgia's schedule is dog water, if you want to know, Florida fans, why Georgia is favored by almost 3 touchdowns in every single one of their games, if you want to know this, look in the mirror. Look in the mirror, Florida. I do believe Billy Napier is a good football coach. I think he'll get it figured out one of these days. I do believe. Okay, it's the University of Florida. Somebody down there is going to figure out football. I can guarantee it. Okay, but I'm looking at you, Columbia, South Carolina, dubbed up by 41 points. I'm looking at you down there on the plains, giving up 40 guys, so north of 40 points against Penn State, getting walked at home. It's not Georgia's fault. They're 21 points, 29 points according to the Football Power Index, 29 points better than every opponent they line up on the schedule with. The schedule is the schedule. Yes, it would be great if every single year they opened up with number 11 Oregon. But guess what? Georgia might beat them by 46 points too. So it's getting to a point now where there's very few things to complain about, right? There's very few things to hate about for sure if you're in an opposing fan base trying to get at Georgia fans. Kentucky is great. They are great, but they will be down next year. Georgia will be a 3-touchdown favorite, and you'll be saying again, Georgia plays nobody. National media guy. I love Ryan Russillo to death. He says that crap every year. Georgia doesn't play nobody. They play their schedule, guys. They play their schedule, and they try to schedule out-of-conference opponents. Clemson, Ohio State, Oklahoma. They've gone out and done these things. So I'm going to get off my high horse, and you guys should too, opposing fan bases. Georgia's out here trying. But guess what? Oregon ain't going to schedule Kirby Smart and the Georgia Bulldogs the rest of time. They ain't coming out here. That's not happening no more. You think that athletic director's ever signing off on that? No, probably not. Probably one of the more embarrassing season openers Oregon's had in a long time. Probably don't want no more of that smoke, right? And by the way, the BYUs of the world, the independents, BYU will not be calling Georgia to try to schedule a home and home. They won't. You know why? Because that independent dream of maybe making it into the college football playoff don't work when you get dubbed up by 40 at home against Georgia. So these non-conference games, guys, they're going to get worse. They're going to get worse. No, ain't nobody signing up for this business. Okay, they don't want none of that. And you wouldn't either, by the way. You 100% would not either. All right. Now, this is what we learned. And I'm not going to give you what I learned, but I'm just going to give you some names. And I think it's very, very important to understand that these 6 names that I'm about to list off are not only important for the reason that I'm going to tell you, but they're also really important because they're some of the best football players that Georgia has on the field right now producing on tape. The stuff I watch on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday in this studio, on that board, and in this notebook, the names that I write down most are these 6 names. Kamari Lassiter, Javon Ballard, Jamon Dumas-Johnson, Smile Mondon, Michael Williams, Malachi Starks. That's 6 of 11 of the starters, okay? 6 of the 11 of the starters on what is currently the greatest defense in the last 50 years of college football. Those aren't mine. Through 3 games, by the way. Through 3 games. The greatest defense in 50 years plus through 3 games of college football. Those 6 names are also guaranteed, per the rules of the NCAA, to be back for at least the 2023 season. Kamari Lassiter, Javon Ballard, Jamon Dumas-Johnson, Smile Mondon, redshirt freshman. Not only do all 6 of these names return next year, they entered this year without a career start, guys. Not a single one of those guys entered the year without a single career start. And they're arguably their best football, not their best football players. These guys are contributing in a heavy manner to what is the best defense in college football right now. And they're coming back next year. Folks, this football team is only really, half of them, more than half of them, are really just getting their feet wet in terms of what college football is, what down-to-down success looks like on Saturdays. They're this good, and they're only going to get better. This team is so good defensively that they got people out here talking about could they be better than last year's team. And by the way, I didn't even mention Tyrion Ingram-Dawkins, Xavier Sorey, Chaz Chambliss, or any of the number of freshmen that are going to be immensely talented in that 2022 signing class. Kristen Miller, that guy's going to be a freak show. Okay, watch what he's doing on Saturdays. So there's a bunch of young names, guys, that are impacting your football team, playing on this defense that everyone's marveling about, that are literally babies. They are infants in their experience and their life, experiences and life lessons in college football. Jamon Dumas-Johnson is playing at an insane level to where you guys are ranting and raving about 10. He still makes WTFs. We can find them. We've showed them to you on Patreon. He's still making mistakes, but he's still flashing all over the place, right? That right there is what I learned when you turn on the tape. My God, they're great. My God, they're young, and they're only going to get better, right? Georgia's going to be here for a while. They're great right now, and that's awesome. They're really, really great right now. They're really, really young. They're really, really young, and they're really just getting their feet wet, like I said, in college football. Half of these guys are just getting introduced to what it is to be great every single snap. And they're not quite there yet. Again, this defense is locking stuff down, and they're not quite there yet. That, to me, is probably the scariest thing that I learned this weekend. I'll tell you some other things. You guys already know this. We got some OGs lining up. We will probably take phone calls at the end of the night. I swear I'm not this greasy. We got to get new hair lights up in here. Be making my forehead shine like, I'm a bald guy or something. Anyways, see John back there in the backstage studio. He likes that joke. We got some OGs lining up right now to join in on the show like we did last week on What Did We Learn Wednesday. I enjoyed that. Get to see put some faces to some names. So we're going to get those guys on here tonight. If you're listening to me right now and you're like, I didn't know he put out the link. It's on Discord right now. Head over there. And if you want to get in on our Discord chat, patreon.com/Brooks Austin will get you there. This wasn't this last weekend. I thought this was kind of this week, right? It's clear to me that whether it be as a coordinator or whether it be as a head coach, Todd Monken's getting a hellified raise this offseason. We all know this, right? You know this. I know this. I've been the one from the jump telling you that this guy's history says he don't stick around very long. Matter of fact, the fact that you got him for a third year is the first time since I think the early 2000s that he's done such a thing. So history tells you you're either going to pay to keep him or he's walking for another job. Okay, so as we learned this week, okay, he is up for head coaching jobs. Now, this is what did we learn Wednesday, right? This is where I bring you things that I, for a certain, know. We don't, project. We don't guess. We don't do anything. So, for all intensive purposes, as you kids say, to keep it a buck with you or to keep it 100 with you, okay, I don't know if Todd Monken at 56 years of age wants to go be a head football coach again. In fact, I think if you're listening to this tonight and you're a Georgia fan, you're probably saying to me, but Brooks, I mean, he's got it really, really great at the University of Georgia. He does. 100% agree with you. North of $2 million in terms of annual salary. There's a lot of other perks that come with being an SEC football coach that aren't really on the headlines. Needless to say, life is good in the financial departments. Don't get me wrong. By the way, his job life is really, really good. His job description is really, really good. I don't know how every Power 5 conference works or Power 5 school works, but I know as an offensive coordinator, Todd Monken probably has less of a responsibility on the recruiting trail than maybe 90% of guys that do his job. That's by design. He pretty much is there to seal the deal, but he's got a lot of people in his building that help him out. Okay. It ain't like he's one of these 35-year-old coordinators that's out here grinding it, tooth and nail out here on the recruiting trail. That's not him. Now, he does it efficiently. He works well. He recruits well. Don't get me wrong. But he's got a relatively easy job, right? He's got the best talent in the world. He's plug and play. Walk up, show up, call great plays, design great plays, score great points, go home. But it also is a crappy job in the sense that if you don't score 40, people want more. Y'all know how y'all are. Don't even flex. Y'all understand how you are as a fan base. But all that being said, if you're a Georgia fan, you think this guy's got it great. Why would he ever leave? especially considering he's already done the head coaching job. And he was great at it at Southern Miss. He turned a 3-win program into a 9 or 10-win program and then said, all right, I'm getting out of here as my NFL guys leave, as my NFL quarterback leaves, as my Ito Richard, my NFL running back leaves, and as my other NFL running back that I'm blanking on a name right now leaves. Okay. As all those guys leave, he decided, I'm going to go be an NFL coordinator. I tried this coaching thing out. I'm going to be an NFL coordinator. So people will say, why would he go do that again? He clearly doesn't want to be a head coach. He's shown that in years past. And I will say this. Guys, have y'all seen what these Power 5 coaches are making nowadays? Georgia pays you $2.5 million, whatever it is, whatever you are listed at. We don't pocket watch. You will never see us write art. You will not see us moving forward write articles about how much coaches make. We just don't care. Y'all can Google that and find it elsewhere. We don't pocket watch, but I'm telling you, he makes a boatload of money at Georgia. He will make double being a head coach everywhere else because that's how the business works. Okay, so yes, you're making $2.5 million at Georgia, but these Power 5 gigs, like Arizona State right now, are probably running about $4.5 million a year for a guy like Todd Monken, who you're gonna have to pay more than what he's currently making. You think this is a first-time head coach that's going to take some podunk job for $1.25 million? No, this is not going to take lateral moves. This is a guy that's going to wait for the job and then get the paycheck if it comes to that. But I will tell you this. If I were 56 years old and someone said, hey, we got a 5-year deal averaging $4.75 million, going to pay you out $18 million over 5, and if we fire you or if we do whatever, you got a buyout clause that guarantees $14 million. Guys, that's a hellified retirement plan. I don't know about y'all. And everybody can sit here and talk about how they don't, everybody has a price, all that good stuff. He's got a gray. Why would you risk whatever? Guys, he can come back and be offensive coordinator whenever he wants. Everyone knows he's a bona fide offensive mind. Okay. So all in conclusion, I don't know what Todd Monken wants. I don't know where he wants to go. I don't know if he's going to leave. I know he's happy what he's doing right now. It's clear that, performance sometimes indicates happiness. Well, that performance is indicating a whole hell of a lot of happiness in Athens right now. Okay, so I don't know what's going to happen. I'm just laying it all out there. I think if at 56 he gets offered the right head coaching job, I'm not going to say he would be a fool to not take it, but there's only so many $18 to $20 million contracts you're going to walk into in your life. That is the God's honest truth. Okay, so I think that's the reality. But before we leave this subject, I just want to say this. Look, I just went on for 40 minutes or 10 minutes. Talking about I don't know what he's going to do. Just moving forward. P.S. This is a little subtle, let's call this a YouTube nug for you right here. Just pay attention to how TV commentators are talking about coordinators moving forward. You will find out very, very clearly which ones have been told, yeah, I'm in search of head coaching jobs. It's not hard. Listen to the broadcast. That's all you got to do. They're telling them. All right, let's move on. We'll get that last plug at the end. Be sure to hit that thumbs up button, guys. We're 23 minutes in. We got a lot left tonight. We got Baxter Street Boys coming tomorrow on the channel. They'll be live at 7 p.m. here. I know you guys love them. They'll be bringing you the bets for the week. So save your mortgage. Win your mortgage back, if you will, if you're chasing. So feel free to join those guys tomorrow night. 4 Wide will be here on Sunday. Hey, golf clap to you guys. I appreciate you showing up and showing out for the 4 Wide. I think you can do better. I'm going to challenge you. I think you can do better. But no, keep showing up and showing out for this network, man. I know you guys, 99.9% of you that aren't named Jonathan Williams' girlfriend or fiance, excuse me, probably subscribe to this YouTube channel for me. I am well aware of that. Okay. But these people are an extension of me and of what we do. So support them. Okay. Support them. Show up. All you got to do is hit the thumbs up button and drop a little comment and then just leave it on mute in a window on your laptop and just watch the whole thing. You don't even have to watch it. You silent watch it. Okay. Just get the numbers up. That's all I'm asking. Just spam the numbers. Okay. Trick the algorithms. All right. What else did we learn this week? Shut up, Brooks, and get on to the next segment. Yes, sir. I'll tell you this much. I know it's all jokes. I know everybody got jokes. I know we all had jokes preseason. But this Stetson Bennett Heisman stuff is for real, by the way. And there's a website created, and I want to know if it's the real one, by the way. I've been doing the Stet 4, the number 4 Heisman on Twitter. The actual name of this website that is created for what I believe is his campaign run to win the Heisman is way better. It's Stetson IV, literally like Stetson for Heisman. Way better. Whoever his marketing agent is, hey, you a champ. I'm telling you right now, it's A+ marketing. But guys, this is real. This is 100% real. I'm not saying he's a favorite to win the Heisman, but he might be at some point in the season, and here's why. Guys, we wrote an article yesterday at noon. Stetson was plus 1,500 on FanDuel to win the Heisman. He was the third or fourth highest rated, or rather best odds to win the thing. Okay. That was 2 days after he was listed at plus 2,000. So his odds moved a bunch in just 2 days. Okay. That was yesterday at plus 1,500. I checked it again today while writing the show notes. He was at plus 1,300. I checked it again before we went live today. He was at plus 1,200. The odds are ever so slightly moving. This is a real thing, Georgia fans. You have a real Heisman contender, and he's going to remain as such, and here's why. I feel like I tell you every single week on this platform that Kirby Smart is tired and fed up of anti-recruiting tactics on the trail. He knows what they are. He knows that every skill player that is sat down in a room with any of his recruiting competitors over the last couple of years has told them the same thing. They don't throw the ball. They don't throw the ball. They run the ball. Stetson last year, winning a national title, only averaged 204 yards per game. They don't throw the ball, recruit X. Kirby is done. They are done having this. Okay, and if you don't believe me, Georgia just waxed 3 opponents by a north of 40 points per game, I believe, if I'm correct. Okay, north of 40 points per game, and their starting quarterback averaged 28.5 attempts per. With a coach in years past who never, ever, ever wanted to throw it more than 30. This is a different team. They're doing it in a different way, okay? And I'm here to tell you, they've averaged north of 300 yards passing through 3 games against teams that they have blown the doors off of in the next 4 weeks. It's not getting any different. They got Ball State on Saturday. We'll be in the building. Shouts out. They got Mizzou. They're going to dub that one up, okay? They got Auburn. Penn State did it to them. What you think Georgia's about it doing to them? And then they got Vandy. Guys, they're going to win those 4 games by an average of 40 points. We all agree there, right? So, if Georgia can get through if Georgia and Stetson can get through the first 3 games, beating the dog doo-doo out of everybody, go through the next 4, which we know they're going to beat the dog doo-doo out of everybody, and still manage to stay on par with the statistical output he's currently out, it just might be his Heisman to lose come the end of the season. And again, here's why. The next 4 stretches of games after your bye week, you get Florida, you go Tennessee, you go to Mississippi State, rather, and then you go to Kentucky, okay? Let's say in just 2 of those 4 games, you might get pushed into the fourth quarter. I think Tennessee can have you within a 10 to 14-point game with 12 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Georgia suddenly now has to play offense and throw the football, and Stetson Bennett for 4 quarters, not 3, not 2.5, 4-quarter football games. Stetson Bennett might throw for 380 yards in football games where they actually have to play offense for 4 quarters. The Baxter Street Boys hit the nail on the head 2 weeks ago. The biggest detriment for Stetson to win the Heisman is his own football team at this pace. They're not going to be in very many football games, at least not until October, maybe November. So, can you keep it up? Can you get through the first 7 games of your schedule with your quarterback in mop-up duty or prior to mop-up duty, getting to that 300-yard mark? Because I think that's the one. Okay, if you're really concerned about whether or not Stetson can win the Heisman, that's the kind of recipe, right? Throw for 300 yards a game through all of this garbage time, and if and when someone actually makes you play a 4-quarter football game this year during the regular season, you got to play offense and run that thing up, okay? And by the end of the year, if through 13 games you've averaged that 300 yards, which seems like you're going to do right now, that's 3,900 yards. Probably going to have north of 30 touchdowns at that point in the season. And guys, guess what? Come December, it's the University of Georgia versus the University of Alabama for the SEC title, and it's Stetson Bennett versus Bryce Young for the Heisman Trophy. That's what that will be. Come December, I'm making a prediction. Come December, the Heisman Trophy and the SEC championship will come down to who wins in Atlanta. That's what it's going to be because, again, this schedule moving forward kind of leads you to believe that, hey, they got an opportunity to really play offense. Really play offense. It might not be until October 28th when maybe Anthony Richardson and the Florida Gators make you play for 3 quarters and then you figure it out and have a 21-point fourth quarter. Someone's going to push you for 4. And in that sense, Stetson's actually going to have to play offense for 4 quarters, and we don't know what stats those look like in a 4-quarter fight. All right. Great segment. Great segment. While we're looking at, kind of battles and things down the road into the future games and trips for the Georgia Bulldogs, I want to tell you about another sponsor for tonight's show. My buddy Matt Chernoff, you guys know him, Chuck and Chernoff here on 680 The Fan, and his company, Atlanta Sports Trips, have planned the perfect trip for you to see the Dogs take on Kentucky in Lexington this season. I think it's the best football game on the slate that week, but not only that week, but this season for the University of Georgia. Probably going to be their only real test on the road, hostile environment. You guys could be there via Atlanta Sports Trips. Atlanta Sports Trips combines the premium travel experiences with game tickets to see your favorite teams play on the road. The trip to Kentucky includes 3-night stay at the Embassy Suites, Lexington Green, plus VIP meet and greet with Eric Zaire, DJ Shockley, and Matt Chernoff. P.S. Chernoff, I don't know why you included yourself in this as like a come on out. Chernoff's going to be here. You had Zaire and Shockley. I think they'll show up for those 2 guys. Maybe not necessarily you. The trip also includes a trip to the Castle and Key Distillery, plus a stop at Keeneland Racetrack, horse track. If you're into it, I am into it. Transportation and game day tailgates with food and drink are included. In long, because I know it certainly was not short, if you want an all-inclusive trip to Lexington, Kentucky, to watch the Dogs in hella high fashion, head over to atlsportstrips.com. You can reserve a spot now with $99 worth of a deposit. Again, that is atlsportstrips.com. Shouts out to Matt Chernoff. We will be on Chuck and Chernoff tomorrow. So if you're a 680 The Fan listener, you're going to get a little heavy dose of your boy tomorrow. All right. So we're 32 minutes in. My God. Guys, these are 4 pages of show notes that we have absolutely obliterated through. Man, we are rattling them off tonight. So we are going to get to some phone calls. John, I see you back there, baby. I see you home. We're going to get to you. Just to let you know, the question is, what have you learned? Or in week 3, what did you learn about Georgia football? Last topic that I kind of learned about this week. Again, we told you, if you're looking for really what we learned, X's and O's wise, what they're changing schematically, are they changing anything schematically? How are guys playing? Who's playing good? Who's playing bad? Patreon.com/Brooks Austin. We're not going to bring up the tape tonight. We're here to talk. That's what we're here to do. So let's talk. One thing I learned this weekend, Paul Feinbaum still got it, folks. That dude still got it. Ain't never lost it. Might not ever lose it. He still got it. What is it? What is that? I'm going to tell you what, Paul's got the best gig in the world. Paul's got the best gig in the world. For 3 hours a day, Monday through Friday, he opens up them lines and talks to the Southland's finest. Okay? I'm talking Merrill in Montgomery. I'm talking Bobby in Bowden, Georgia. I'm talking all of them. You know who I'm talking about, okay? Greatest gig in the world. That's part of his job. Go listen to Timmy from Tuscaloosa talk about the Tide, okay, and bitch and moan. But the other part of his job is come on to other ESPN entity and say the thing. What is the thing? Well, you know what the thing is, especially if you've been following me on Twitter long enough, you understand that every time Paul says the thing, we run an article telling you that Paul said the thing. What the hell is the thing? Well, this time the thing is that Paul said Georgia's the new Alabama. That's the thing. We run it. Paul Feinbaum says the thing. Georgia is the new Alabama. Let's talk about this. What the hell does this even mean? Well, we already kind of hit the nail on the head to start, right? Bang. Dominance. Overall dominance. We about to show up, give you that 40-point dub in the SEC. Don't care. South Carolina. Dominance. 55-point dub against Ole Miss. Alabama. Dominance. Right? You've already checked that box. That is what it partly what it requires to be the, quote, new Bama. But to me, right, I think it's more important than just dominating opponents. I think the number one box you have to check to be, quote, the new Bama is to be able to rebuild or reload, right? What is the difference? Well, rebuilding takes a while. Reloading is now. Reloading is mag out, mag in. Real gun guy here, right? Reloading is mag out, mag in. Okay. Rebuilding is, hey, we got to change some structural integrity of the weapon. Okay. Get it back together and then get going. Well, I think this year we have heard enough about how much NFL talent Georgia lost. God dang, you can't turn on nothing that talks about Georgia without hearing the number 15. 15 NFL players lost to the draft. 5 first-round NFL draft picks from the defense, right? It's all you hear over and over and over. Attrition, talent attrition. Record highs of talent attrition. Literally, since 2001, no defense ever experienced 5 first-round draft picks gone in one draft. Not since Miami, okay? Not since Miami. So, what did they do? They reloaded, right? Whereas last year, I think after the best football team Georgia has ever created, right? Last year, 2021, national title, I think you would agree that's the best team Georgia's ever created. And here we are, 2022, September 21st, and you guys are talking about, are they better than last year? That is the definition of reloading. Let's flip it on the other end, because this is Paul's comparison, not mine. Let's compare it again, in conclusion, to Bama. Are they the new Bama? Say, and Baxter Street Boys, our beloved homers of the channel, would tell you, no, they're not the new Bama. They're the better Bama. Because the best team Bama's ever had is, in my opinion, inarguably, that 2020 team. This is the best offensive performance in juggernaut college football's probably seen. I know 2019 LSU happened the year before. Bama was better. I'm here to tell you. Per game, stats, right there with them. Just as good. That's the best Bama team ever. And boom. Their head coach told you. They were rebuilding. They were rebuilding in 2021. Georgia reloaded. So all jokes aside, this is what it requires, right? It requires to have 15 guys go to the NFL, and then 6 of 11 starters be redshirt freshmen or true freshmen, and then go out there and put that thing on, right? That's what it requires, and Georgia is there, so be happy. All right, we're going to hit John up right now. John, you've been waiting back there a whole long time, okay? So let's go ahead and add you in. John, how we doing today, buddy?
You're good. Doing good. How are you doing, Brooks?
I cannot complain. John, let me know, what have you learned through 3 weeks of Georgia football?
Todd Monken's a genius.
Todd Monken's a genius.
Yes.
What specifically about Todd's offense do you like, other than they be scoring points?
They're diverse.
Yeah.
I like diversity, being able to spread the whole offense around all positions and keep everybody happy and being able to spread the ball around.
I think what we should do, John,
I
think we should count the number of times during a Georgia broadcast that the ESPN truck, the CBS truck, whoever's the production team running the unit, throws up the graphic, X number of Georgia players have made a catch today, or X number of Georgia players have touched the ball. Because that's what you're talking about, right? I feel like through the first 3 weeks, yes, they've been blowouts, right? But I feel like through the first 3 weeks, especially Oregon, through the first quarter, it felt like half the offense had touched the rock. And that's multiplicity. That's what you're talking about. I love that against Oregon, it felt like they were real stretch zone, wide zone heavy, running a bunch of, motion with Ladd McConkey. They kind of returned to that against South Carolina for the most part. You saw a lot of reverses and things like that. Well, against Samford, they were a 2x2 football team and kind of played out of shotgun. So it's really interesting to me, like you said, John, to see them play out of a multiple set. And I also think it's important that Georgia retain this identity if Monken were to leave. Because if I were to ask you, and I'm going to, John, what is your biggest fear right now in terms of coaching attrition? If you could lose or save one coach, if you got a keeper rule, right, where we're going to slap a franchise tag on one coach, who would it be?
Man, that's hard. Are you talking about offense or defense?
I'm talking about offense, defense, a coordinator or position coach. If you had a franchise tag on one guy, who would it be?
I would say right now probably Dell McGee, wouldn't you?
See, I would go with the coordinator. Okay,
Yeah.
I would go with Monken, because not to say Glenn Schumann is replaceable. He's not. But Kirby Smart is a beautiful defensive mind. If I could hold on to one player and one player only in terms of a coach, it would be Monken. We would franchise Monken until he held out and refused to come to training camp. That's what we would do. He would be our Von Miller. He would be our Aaron Donald. That's what it would be if I were running this football program. John, man, I appreciate you. Anything else you got for us before you go out?
I was going to say, who do you think we would replace as offensive coordinator if Monken were to? I know unfortunately, we would have to think about that if that were to happen.
Well, here's the great news, right? You're the University of Georgia, which means two things. One, highly sought after position. Okay. It would be like the 34th best offensive coordinator job in the world, followed by 32, NFL jobs.
Mm-hmm.
The one probably Alabama job. Some would say or Ohio State under Ryan Day because you're going to put up numbers, right? And then Georgia because of talent acquisition. So you are in an advantageous spot in the sense that the moment that job becomes available, there are going to be fairly large numbers of really, really qualified individuals to take it over. So sitting here and trying to pin down who would Georgia go after and hire, that wouldn't be the job. The job would be, who are we going to pick out of the slate of really, really talented individuals that are coming here to potentially take over what is an offensive coordinator job? But I've said this, John, and I think this is going to be true moving forward. I don't know if it really matters, and here's why. Todd Monken was not only brought in to change Georgia offensively and to put up points, right?
Yeah.
But he was also brought in my opinion, to show Georgia how to do these things on a year in and year out basis so that when he is gone, very similar to Steve Sarkisian at Alabama, the next guy comes in and does what Georgia does. What Monken has instilled over the last 3 years, in my opinion, barring major changes in college football defensively, Georgia will do this moving forward. And whoever comes in next will be taught to learn this. Just like Bill O'Brien, who is an NFL head coach, coming into Alabama to be an OC, was told the same exact thing. You are coming here to learn our terminology. You are coming here to learn our playbook, and then you call the plays on Saturday. That's what I think the system will be moving forward. You come here, you teach and coach Georgia's system, and then you call the plays on Saturday. John, man, appreciate you for being here, brother. I love doing that. I love being able to get to talk to our people again, put some faces with some names of some guys that have been on the Discord for a long time. John, I forgot to ask you before we let you go, how long you been a Discord member? Or how long you been a Patreon member, first of all?
About a little bit of almost a year and a half, 2 years.
Okay, so you're almost like a day oneer.
Yeah.
You're more like a day threer on the first week. So we appreciate you, brother. Been here a long time. Happy with the services, right? Happy with the product?
Oh, absolutely.
Hell yeah, that's it. That's it right there. Appreciate you, John. No, seriously, if you want to be a part of something, I think that's we sell a handful of things, right? We sell the film cut-ups that you guys love. We sell the Discord that you guys love. We sell Patreon nuggets during the season and during the off season that you guys love, intel, all that good stuff that everyone loves, that everyone brings out the credit card for. But I think most importantly, the thing I pride myself on most is that you can come out there and hang out in our community, and you can find people that you might end up having lifelong friendships with, like legitimate friendships with. That's what I have found through the year and a half, 2 years that we've been running that thing and running it successfully. So appreciate everyone involved, and we will love to have you over there, patreon.com/Brooks Austin. All right, we somehow did 4 pages worth of notes, of show notes, and took a guest in a matter of 43 and a half minutes. So that right there was flying through. Absolutely flying through. I think we had some Bama fans show up. We already had to run one of them out of the Patreon. Think about that. Think about how great film study is here. Film study is so great that we got Bama jammers pulling out credit cards to learn about Georgia football. Hey, now we had to run him off because he's a troll and he's here tonight trolling, but it is what it is, right? I'm going to call it a night. We do want to throw one more shout out to the Gramco.com, promo code Brooks25, all your Delta 8 and CBD gummy needs. And I do want to throw one more shout out to ATLSportstrips.com. Visit those guys and get that all-inclusive trip book to Lexington, Kentucky. I think that will be a fun one. If you're going to be in Athens this Saturday, holla at your boy. Tag me on Twitter. We might holler at you. Might, maybe grab an adult beverage at some point during the day. I will be in Athens. So if you will be there, hit your boy up. We'll figure something out. Yes, photos are encouraged. Yes, What up, Brooks is encouraged. All that good stuff. We love, again, putting names to faces and shaking hands and kissing the babies. We'll see you next time for the Film Guy Network, for Brooks Austin, for all the family. Hit that like button on. Yo, way out. Deuces.